Hi everyone, this is live with Misha and Crystal. Thank you so much for joining us, and let's get started. Go ahead, Misha.
1 second. I was trying to message you. I was like, no, you didn't get a timer on here. How do I go back? Hold on 1 second. Uh-oh. Go ahead and start because I can't get my screen back.
I see it now. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. When we're got a little, I think I surprised her. I told you when we start building these channels, when we really start going, we are going to be just great enough to be dangerous. So just stay tuned for more stuff from us. Let's go get it started. And usually just so you guys know something, I say, okay, Misha, you go first or I go first, and we're just gonna go. We're just gonna get started. So yeah, I was just telling Misha that go ahead.
Yes, I'm still caught up on this countdown because I was like, you really shocked me.
I told you, girl, I got another one in there. I said,
what? Like, you got it.
I said, I'm gonna have to be dangerous. Are you kidding me? So yeah. Put a ring on it. I was just telling Misha that I hate to say this. This is kind of sad, but after Smoke, Darion, and Alexia, it was kind of boring, and I hate
drama is gone.
Yeah, I hate thinking that. And the Kai of it all. It was kind of boring, and these are the kind of dilemmas and issues that every couple goes through. But yeah, let's talk about it. What did you think of this week's episode?
It was interesting. I enjoyed Eric and Jessica's conversation. I think that was the only, I guess, the meat and potatoes of the episode, I guess you could say.
So let's get into the meat and the potatoes a little bit before we get into their conversation. Eric did have a date with Leilani, and it's pronounced Lea, like Leilani, like that. So
Leilani, yeah.
Leilani, yeah, but it's spelled a little differently than I usually spell it. So what did you think of the date then? Let's get into a little bit of tea.
Okay, this date, first of all, when I was like, what if I don't know the budget or what, but it was looking a little ghetto. It was like I don't know if this is Leilani's spa or not, like, because I know she does something like with that type of industry, but when Eric walked up and she's got the little pot and the little thing, and I'm like, girl, what is you doing? And then she's like, oh, hi. Like, she didn't expect him to walk in. And I was like, girl. Then when they go in that salt room and they got them lawn chairs and then Walmart bathrobes, I was like, what is happening? I didn't even focus on the date, but I was just like, this is kind of ghetto. But at the same time, it was just like, she doesn't give more depth than Jessica. And I was watching Janice Hilton's show, and she made a good point that Leilani is more feminine than Jessica. You know, she called Jessica fake feminine. So Leilani is actually feminine, meaning her outer appearance, and inside she's feminine. But Jessica's more on the outside. She looks feminine, but she has kind of this hard. She got a little bit of hood to her.
Rough interior. That's true.
Yeah. So she's not really, so maybe that's what Eric means. He wants someone more feminine. He wants someone more soft. He doesn't want to have to break through the barriers that Jessica has. So I think maybe that's what he means. But as far as depth, I don't see any significant difference as far as depth. Even when they're in the salt room and he's like touching her robe, talking about close that up, and he's basically filling her up, like trying to close her robe.
It
And
was.
it's like the same patterns. You're leading with sex and you wonder why that's all you're getting out of your relationships.
He was, and you know, it's so interesting when you talk about the fake feminine because Jessica, when I was watching one of the lives, with the first live that she and the other ladies were doing, and she was really kind of rough. Like she had the dookie braids in, and she just was looking kind of rough, but she's very pretty, but she was looking kind of that gruff exterior, gruff, you know, type of personality. So that does that. Janice, she has a good point there. But you know what? One of several reasons why I love doing this with Misha is we notice a lot of the little things. When he walked up to the spa, I was like, "What is this? A storefront? Like, where is this in Atlanta? Like, what was? It looks
It kind of looked like a library, kind of. It
okay." And
looked weird. It did not look like it was supposed to relax you. I don't know what that was.
no, and
And then she just got this random pot. I'm like, what is going on?
it look, hey, Tia Maria, one of our regulars. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining us. It definitely looked like, to me, you said it looked like a library. I thought it looked like it was like in a strip mall. I was like, where is this? And then
Mhm.
it looked like the garage was open, and then she's just walking. I was like, what is happening? And I've been like at a spa, and they have like white linen robes, and you
Mhm.
have a great point. I was like, what? Where are they at? Where are they at that they're walking around like this? And they usually give you like house shoes or those little slip-on shoes, and then they were
Yeah.
nice socks.
Eric,
And
I'll
she was
say
in tube
this.
socks.
Eric is a little hood.
True,
So, okay, I
a lot.
expected the tube socks. I'm not mad at the tube socks. But it's he's not used to that type of environment, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree with you. Those little things that we were noticing, I'm like, where is this? And so then they're having this conversation, and I thought it was just going to end there where he's like, oh well, let me cover this up, and he's like sweating because he's feeling like I'm really too close, I'm really attracted to this girl. He's feeling like he needs to move back, but the truth is then they get a little bit more comfortable, and I'm like, you need, if you really feel that way, you should have left. You should have just like said, you know what, this date is over. So yeah, it was really uh-uh. That whole date was kind of crazy.
So, so I've been seeing some comments about Leilani saying that she's Kai 2.0. That people are already suspecting that Leilani and Eric have done possibly something and gone too far. But people are saying Leilani's not the type to expose Eric, though. So, what do you think about that narrative?
That's interesting. I think that she is somebody to tempt him, but so why wouldn't she expose him to keep it going after the show? To
I think
me,
people are just saying it doesn't seem like it's her character.
but it's her character to cheat, but it's not her character to tell. See, and I don't get that, but you know what? I wasn't surprised by Kai. I wasn't surprised by Kai. So, hmm, I don't think she's 2.0. I think that Kai was 10.10. I think that she was out all the way out there, and Leani is not that. I don't know. I don't want to say she's not that loose, but she sure has been that doing her job, just like we all said
Mm.
Kai did what she was supposed to do. So, so we'll wait and see. That's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised, but you know
Mm.
what? You have a point that she's not the one to just put his business out there. Yes, I'm interested. Yes, he looks good. yes, I'll, go a little further, but I'm just gonna leave it right there and have a bed buddy. Hmm, I wouldn't be surprised.
Who for that?
And yeah, TJ, Eric just wants the sex, in my opinion. Yeah, he knows. That's why he was. That's why he was so nervous, because he knows he just wants the sex. He doesn't. He doesn't want her truly. He doesn't truly want her. Yeah, but he was definitely
But
trying to feel but not get it. Go ahead. Yeah.
he was kind of mimicking Darion when he said, when he was walking into the spa or the bookstore, whatever it was, um,
It was strip mall.
when he said, "I'm having issues with Jessica, so I'm looking forward to relaxing with Leilani." It was like word for word how Darion said he needed to relieve stress, so he hit up Kai.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I don't know, it's giving me those same type of tendencies. Even when the last episode, when Alexia comes to the couples and tells them what happened with Darian and Kai, Eric is just like, don't nobody look over here.
Right.
Don't I ain't did nothing. I ain't did
Exactly. Not
nothing.
me.
He
I ain't in it. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. But you know what? It's so funny. He did, yeah. I think that, but see, that's the thing. In the beginning, before all of this, before they got on this show, they both, well, she apparently cheated emotionally, and he did cheat. Apparently, they were. He says that we were only together 3 years, and she says no, it was 4 years because he was out there doing his thing. So you may have a great point. I do want to address what Tia says because, um, that's the boundaries. So that the show is trying to let you know that you have boundaries and you have morals in the relationship. So if the show says that there are no boundaries and the couples accept those rules, then is sleeping with a date wrong? This is why I don't like the premise of the show. And I agree with you. The premise of the show is crazy to tempt you to see if you are ready for marriage or not. But at the same time, yes, the show says, okay, you have all these rules, you have all these deal breakers, now throw them out the window. But you know the person that you've been with and that you want to be with, and you know that rules or not, that's not okay to sleep with somebody else. Like, even if you don't have any rules, your morals or your integrity is telling you not to do this. So yeah, the show may say don't have any rules, but you should have some rules to yourself. Use your own personal rules. I think that's what the show should be saying. What do you think?
I think for what I interpreted as, because I was basing it, the no rules, no boundaries, off of the first season. Because the
Hmm.
first season, the rules were no holding hands, no hugging, no, it was kind of like affection. So when they said no boundaries, my mind didn't go to sex. My mind was just, because those were like the rules that they had, like, I don't want you doing this. It was kind of, I felt like it was self-explanatory that sex was off the table.
Right.
So I thought the no boundaries, because even before the date started, before they even said there's no rules, that all the girls were basically saying, don't hold her hand, don't be touching on her, don't be. So I felt that was all the no boundaries was about. So I feel like the no sex is a no brainer. I didn't feel like no boundaries was a hall pass.
It,
So
it, I agree. No boundaries is not a hall pass. Tearing all those rules up is not a hall pass for you to do what you see fit if you're attracted to somebody, but you've been in a 4 year relationship or 14-year relationship or a 10-year relationship. Go do it. And TJ, so you think that he slept with her, but I don't think there is going to be proof of it. Proof to prove it. Proof to prove it. um, huh. I don't know, Eric. There would be proof to me.
oh,
What were you
I like,
saying?
there's like no one's gonna say anything about it. I think
Right.
that's, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And you know what? This is a great discussion. So Tia is saying that you think that the show is a one big hall pass. To a degree, yes, because the Dr. Ponytail is like, throw the rules out. I, but it's not.
Another thing I feel the show, I feel the dates are like that's what it is, a date. You communicate with that person on that date. So
Hmm.
so I kind of understand the show in that sense that you're there for 30 minutes, an hour, however long to communicate and make a connection. So I don't think that it's should include these outside meeting ups, outside calls, texts. So yeah,
You
I
see
think
what you
yeah,
open up. You
wrapping
see how,
up.
yeah. No, you have a point. Like it's a date. It's to show you how you can open up with someone else
Mm.
better than you open up with yourself, or you see how you are with other people, and you try to um, show more of yourself and see if you're ready for a relationship after this. No, you're in the relationship, ready for marriage after this, but it's not uh, to have a hall pass. It's not to have sex with anybody else. So, but
Mhm.
you're right. If somebody does not have, is if someone is of low integrity and they're still being childish, then the show is a hall pass. And it really, that's who it shows. That's when it shows you who you're in a relationship with. So our friend Kia is in here. Kia, you should have been here at the beginning, girl, because I got my countdown.
She sure did.
So, okay, so it's about, and this is what I was saying, TJ, it's about your personal morals. If a person can pull you away for a few weeks, you aren't ready. True. Like if in,
Right.
right. And it's truly how you act. And it's something that LaRonda, really wondering about her and Sean, because she wants to see how he is with other people because apparently, and I truly believe this, he was jealous every time he probably saw her with another guy, whether it be a work friend or someone that's just a friend. If he had been, throwing up and doing all of these things. So she's like, I just need you to be a better person in certain situations. So she's like, oh no, I'll have another date, please. So I just really want to see. I really think that it's about um, showing that somebody can grow and be in a relationship. Okay, what do you think? But I do think you have a point, though, Tia. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think like who was it? Felicia said the people that are on the shows they have their own sets of morals. Where you kind of saw for on the first season, everyone was on the same page. So it wasn't like there was no opportunity really to have a Darion and Kai moment. So I think on this season you have Eric who's kind of, I don't want to say used to cheating, but it is what it is. And then you have Darion who is used to cheating as well. So I feel like to them, their dates were like going to the playground, going to an amusement park, going to have fun, where the ladies, like their mindsets weren't on that. Like I don't
Right.
think any of the ladies would have took that type of risk on their relationship like the men did. And I think it just all goes to speak on their mindset and their morals and their value and self-respect for themselves and their relationship.
You're right. I think that when you have somebody that comes in with their own set of morals, even, their own set of upbringing, their own issues, they're still going to do whatever they're going to be who they are regardless. And the truth is going to come out. If they've been putting on their, what do you call it? Putting on your, bringing your representative. And then next thing you know, the true person's really going to come out. So when you don't have morals, and so then you really show yourself, it's gonna really come out in the wash. And just like Felicia was saying, the people they are recruiting have their own sets of morals. Kai is a perfect example. Some of the participants are walking into a minefield. I don't know if they're walking into a minefield. I think that, these ladies, they know, that they're not their mates, they're not prepared for a long-term relationship, but they don't want to face it sometimes. Not every time, but
Mm-hmm.
you kind of know, you know that you might be just spinning your wheels, or that he has, there's certain things that I take issue with, and then there's certain things that I really should not put up with, but you're seeing what you can and cannot put up with. And yeah, so you're right. Somebody that is had some issues in the past is walking into a minefield. Hmm.
So let's get into Jessica and Sean's date. And
Jessica and Eric.
here's what I think
Oh,
about
Jessica and
the
Sean.
whole
Sorry.
thing.
Hmm.
So Jessica, so like Dr. Nicole said, Jessica and Eric are like, they mimic each other's behaviors. So Eric goes on his date with Tynesha, and it's the best conversation. He comes home and he wants Jessica to mimic that and have that type
Sean.
of,
Sean.
huh?
Sean is on the date with Tynesha.
No, Eric, and I'm talking about Jessica and Sean.
Yeah. Okay.
Sean,
Okay.
the other Sean.
Got
Because
it. Okay.
Jessica, the Sean
And
that's like crying on the date. Wait,
got you.
no,
Okay.
they
Now
both were crying. That doesn't help. But the dude that Jessica went on 4 dates with, his name is Sean.
got it. Okay.
So, so what I was saying, when Eric went on his date with Tynesha, he came home and wanted Jessica to mimic Tynesha in as far as being open and having that level of conversation. Then Jessica goes on a date with Sean and she's like, I feel seen. He makes me feel seen. Why can't Eric do that? And it's like they're both trying to force each other to be something that they're not. So I think Sean is a good guy, but I think I think Jessica likes that he's emotionally vulnerable, but I think she just likes him for that moment to get that type of attention she needs in that moment. I don't see her leaving Eric for Sean because ultimately she wants, and I don't want to say an alpha, but she wants a dude with that edge to him. And Sean doesn't have it. Sean's the good guy, and I don't think she'll ever leave the go with the good guy over Eric. So yeah, I just I feel bad for Sean because I know he was already crying on that fourth date, talking about if I don't see you again, I'll be sad. And I was like, well, you just gonna be sad
He's gonna be
because
sad because
he's
he's not. You know
he's
what? I
too,
totally
it's
agree.
kind of like the narrative, the girls never like the good guys type of like it's
No,
not gonna happen.
to your point, I think he's too sweet. I think he's too sweet, and she needs that recognition. She needs the pat on the back. She needs that attention. She needs somebody to tell her how beautiful she is. She needs the, what is it, the verbal. She needs that, but
Mm-hmm.
him being so nice and not being a little bit, I don't want to say combative, but not being just a little bit strong. Um, and her thinking I could get away with whatever I want to with him, with Sean.
Yes, she would run all over him.
Exactly. And sometimes a lot of women don't want a guy that they can run all over, that they can treat any kind of way. And now I do believe sometimes the way Eric talks to her is not cool, but that's how their relationship started. I do think that that's how their relationship started.
Right.
But Sean, he put all his cards on the table so quick that
Mm-hmm.
she knows what she knows what she can get. She knows, well, no, she knows what she's getting with him. With
Mm-hmm.
Eric, it's always a roller coaster, and she kind of likes the
Mm-hmm.
roller coaster. She likes the roller
Right.
coaster a little bit. Hmm. So yeah, I totally agree. I think that and he's like, I'd be sad. And so I was like, I said, are they cutting like 90% of this conversation? because that's really all the conversation we saw.
Weird.
Well, how would you feel if you never saw me again? I really be sad because I just think about you all the time. That's it. That's they gotta have more conversation than that. But yeah, I agree. I was like, gosh, like what else?
They
I know
they
he has
made him
kids.
look like a simp from the beginning. Because
Yes.
even when he came on the date talking about, I see you, I see who you are. I'm like, you were sitting under this tree with her for 10 minutes. What are you talking about? But
I
maybe
said,
there's
weren't y'all
things
going on a
we're
hike?
not seeing.
I totally agree. I said, y'all went on a hike or something, and then I really see you. I just want to let you know that I'm having feelings and stuff like that. I do think that he is the type of guy that I'm like, do you get embarrassed easily? Because sometimes, because when he fell out of the cage, they did the eye fly, and he
Yeah.
fell out of there. I said, oh gosh, this poor guy. But but I wouldn't know. I would not mind that if I was in a relationship with him and we're doing something fun and adventurous and he falls. I thought it was cute, but not everyone's gonna think that was cute. So yeah.
I don't think that was a big deal. I think that was like
I
kind of the
didn't either.
place to fall. It's different if
Oh
you're
yeah,
walking
no,
down the street and you fall, then that's embarrassing. But I
I
don't
totally
think it's a
agree.
big deal to fall in there.
No, I think it's probably appropriate. He probably his balance was totally off. I thought it was totally funny, but not everybody's gonna think that was funny. Yep. So, so yeah, Felicia was saying many people have lived together for a long period of time and are unhappy in their relationship. True. Um, will get married to get divorced to end the relationship. I believe you are onto something. Yes, you sometimes people get married. They're in a what together for 5 years, then they get married and they're only together for a year and a half. So that happens. That happens. So
It
and then
does.
some people marry a one night stand and have been married for 20 years. So you just never know. You just never know. Not that's I don't. Yeah, that's not a guarantee, but true. It's true.
All right, so let's get into this conversation with Eric and Jessica. We'll start with Eric first. So, this whole situation with his mom, and basically, the mom feels entitled to Eric's money because he was a pro NFL player. She wants the house, the car, the furniture, and then some. So that kind of broke down their relationship. And here we go again with what Dr. Nicole said. They're kind of like putting, they're doing the same thing to each other, but not realizing it. So Jessica feels like he needs to reach out to his mother and on something it's already clear there's tension, there's an issue there. They've already tried talking, nothing happened, nothing got resolved. So my whole thing is now they need therapy. They need some type of mediator, counselor, maybe Dr. Nicole, because or Dr. Ponytail as we call her, because obviously them two talking, they're getting nowhere. But my thing also is toxic people are toxic. So it kind of doesn't, sometimes it doesn't even matter if a mediator is involved, because if you want to be toxic, if you just want your way, if you just want Eric to be this ATM card for you, then you're not going to get nowhere anyway. So, but I think I kind of saw how Jessica is kind of projecting her own issues on him. Like, I don't have a mom. I've been abandoned. So reach out to your mom. And that's not really always the best thing to do. And I kind of think that plays into the whole wanting to be seen by Eric, not feeling like she gets enough attention, enough compliments from Eric. And I think they both need counseling separately and together, because I think I can see how they're both and so then it came back to my head with the whole Mother's Day thing. So do you think Eric purposely like didn't acknowledge Jessica on Mother's Day? because he's not on good terms with his own mother. He didn't want to think about Mother's Day. He didn't want to think about his mother. So I kind of felt like, okay, maybe that was his reason for doing that.
So that is a great point because that is actually what I was going to bring up. So I'm glad you did. I don't know that he didn't do it on purpose, but I do think that Mother's Day may give him some anxiety, might not be the right word, but some just trepidation.
Triggering.
Like, yeah, it's
Mhm.
triggering. There you go. So I think that when he thinks of Mother's Day, he thinks of his own mother, and he probably was in his head a lot that day. So he probably knew that yes, I should acknowledge Jessica, but you probably just a lot of things, and he, when you're in your head and you're going through a lot, time does get away from you. So, and I'm not going to necessarily excuse him totally because I don't know him
Right.
personally, but I do know that if he's gone through what he has gone through with his own mother, um, Mother's Day, probably after he got into the NFL, she probably really did expect a lot of things. And, and of course, that's what it sounds like. And to me, um, the reason why he is writing her a letter instead of calling her or going to see her, because he knows that even though he really wants to, when you're in front of somebody and you really want to tell them and be honest and be transparent with them, but you see them, you probably won't be able to get out all the words that he really wants to say. So I
Mhm.
do think for him, the letter is just fine. And at least he'll feel like he said something. At least he'll feel like he did something to make the situation a little better to him. Um, but I do think that Mother's Day, that really did bring me back to Mother's Day as well. But I also think it is not a good idea. So you already have your own issues with your growing up, your parentage. You cannot make someone reconcile with their parents. You cannot if somebody, let's say they were abused as a child, and let's say something happened to them, how they deal with it is how they're dealing with it. And you're right about
Mhm.
you and I have had these discussions about mental health and stuff like that. They need therapy, and I'm glad that she had a conversation with him. She started crying. He was appreciative of how passionate she was about it, but she can't make him, uh, reconcile with his mother and make the first move. So to me,
Mhm.
a letter is fine. I think it's really sad that his mother does that to him because you buy him a house and so, oh, well, you didn't put any furniture in it, but I need a car now. Then all he feels like is a human ATM. He doesn't feel like he's doing it
Right.
because I'm your son, and he really wants to feel like I'm your son, and he still wants that connection with his mother. Um, and he thinks that if I do call her or if we do see each other, it may start out nice and like a nice dinner, and then go and by the end of the night she's gonna have her hand out, and that's really sad. That's horrible. But you can't pick your parents, unfortunately. So he's gonna have to deal with it his own way. So yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely agree that the Mother's Day was probably very triggering. He may not have done it on purpose, but I think that his mother had something to do with it. Yeah. Hmm.
I think it's sad because it seems like the mother and like a lot of other mothers, it's like they push their kids into sports, acting, music, and it's like get rich so you can buy me a house, so you can take care of me. So it's kind of like the mother was waiting around for his career to pop off. Okay,
Hmm.
now it's time to start doing for me, and that's he don't owe you nothing.
Right.
Like you brought him into this world. It was your job to take care of him. He doesn't owe you anything for doing what you were supposed to do. It's nice. I understand that's the dream. Like we all want to be successful and be able to take care of our parents, but
Right.
that's not something that you should feel entitled to and put your own request on someone.
And actually, I want to go back to something else. He wants another child. I thought he had one child and she had two. they both have 2 kids each, and he wants another kid. That's 5 kids. He can't afford to give nobody nothing. He needs to really concentrate on his relationship and concentrate on his, what his post football career. And um, his mother's probably not thinking about anybody else but herself, And she, as
Mm-hmm.
you said, she brought him into this world. Is she thinking about that? Is she thinking, well, how are you doing? What's next for you? Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was really sad. And she had talked about being adopted before, and she was raised by her aunt, and she had really, and I believe her, that she had probably gotten a lot of predation, and a lot of racist things happened to her when she was a child by other kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's probably had a lot of issues, and that's the reason why she is so gruff. That's the reason why she is so
Right.
strong. So I don't necessarily, that's not going to be an easy thing for her to just, you know, to just be feminine tomorrow. It's just not, or be feminine in his eyes, be feminine the way he wants her to be. And Darian said something else said that word feminine as well about Kai. It's not easy when you've had that type of growing up. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. And when Jessica was kind of going into how her mother was a prostitute and how she felt like it was kind of in her to be a stripper, I was like, wow. Like it's sad that people think that way, that they think my mother's this, so I have to be this. Or like they feel like they have to follow, or they feel like there's no other way, there's no other path. And it's sad, but I think she's made a great life for herself. I think she's overcame a lot, and it explains like her tough exterior, and it explains why maybe Eric's not able to get the depth, the so-called depth that he's missing, because I feel like the show can kind of project it as, because she's kind of this Instagram model looking girl, she doesn't have depth because she's pretty, or she's got her body done, or some, like they can relate it to that, when it's actually, I feel like it's more her upbringing. She's had a hard life, and she doesn't maybe all the time want to deal with that and get through that. So it kind of opened my eyes to another side of her that's causing that hard shell of hers. You're muted.
Trying to mute myself because I was coughing. This episode, this is one of the times that she was very deep, and she was really, we saw a different side of her. And not only did she say that her mother was a prostitute, but her parents kicked her out after she found out that her baby was half black, and that,
Mm-hmm.
and all of these things, and her parents were racist, and all of these things that happened to her as a child, and then being raised by her aunt, which I thought that it was interesting, because then I was like, well, wouldn't your aunt be white? But that's okay. I'm glad that her aunt did some.
I think it was the dad's sister,
The dad.
because I'm
Okay.
like, that's because I was wondering the same thing too. Like, how are you not around your mom, and why was the sister like accepting of you and not the mom? But I think it had to be someone on the dad's side of the
And I
family,
was like,
I'm
well, she was a
assuming.
prostitute, so it's not our. We don't know for sure, but no, I thought
Yeah.
that too. I said, was it the dad's sister or who? But maybe, the sister had a change of mind, had a change of heart. This is a baby. A baby needs a healthy place to live and grow. So you're right. It was a lot of that, and she couldn't see past doing anything else but be a stripper, but be an Instagram model,
Mhm.
and to use her figure and her face to get what she wants. That's where she came from. That's where she came from.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's so many questions because and that's a lot of that's a lot of the things that we talk about all the time, and that I had to know your self-worth. And honestly, she has come from a place that a lot of men, tell her how pretty she is, and things like
Hmm.
that. So I'm not necessarily surprised that that is her love language. Yeah, so that's what I was saying, that maybe the mother and sister was not the racist. It was just the parents. And but then
But
she was
I'm thinking it had to be the dad's family because even when she talks about being bullied or being teased, like to me, it seems like she grew up around Black people. That's what
true.
I took from it. So I think it would, but again,
Yeah.
she didn't clarify, so how will we know?
Yeah, I thought that it was the dad's family, but then I also thought she did say her mom was a prostitute, so I didn't know if he was just um uh, a paying customer. So I didn't know for sure. So
Because
I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know.
sorry.
So, I'm not trying to be rude. I was like, well, who was it the mom's father or now we're gonna get
You know
canceled.
what went through my head? I was like, well, how did they know who the dad was? If yeah,
That's what
it's
I'm
a
saying.
lot.
How did they
It's,
know who the
it
dad
just
was?
leads to so many other questions because
That's
you're
that's what
like,
I was saying. Like that's what Keita said. So many questions. So many questions. Maybe it wasn't that the mom's sister, the aunt, was racist, but the parents were racist. Maybe she
yeah.
got pregnant and she goes back to them to say, "Now I'm pregnant. Please help me." And they said no. And she was now raised by her
And
parent by her.
that's another thing. You accept your daughter being a prostitute, but a Black baby is a no-no. That was kind of crazy to me. So, like, okay,
I
okay, like,
agree. Yeah, that's really crazy. I'm like, huh. But at the same time, we don't know. Like people racists, they have a lot of hangups. They have a lot of hangups, and they don't know how to relate to other people, especially children. Yes. So, and Tia was saying yes because she said she was teased. Die. She she said she was teased being light skinned, which makes me think she was raised with Black folks. Yeah, I agree. I do think that she was raised around a lot of Black people. If she was raised around white people, she would have been teased being Black.
right, that's
Right,
true.
for being Black. Yes, I do think that she was raised around a lot of Black people, but she might have been the only light skin in her family. And I have a friend that was the only dark skin in a family full of light skinned people, and she was teased mercilessly. And I didn't. I thought that maybe there were different shades, and then I met her family, and absolutely, she was the only dark skinned person, and they in a family they were all light skinned, and I was like, wow, that they just totally treated you horribly because of that. And so yeah, it's very
Mhm.
true. I have my best friend that definitely happened to her. So yeah, they both have a lot of issues to deal with. They both have a lot of issues to deal with before they should even think about walking down the aisle. Yeah. So I wonder how that's going to go. I mean, if you've seen the previews, it's going to be very interesting in the next week or so. Oh, so the baby must be so Miss Eden must be acting up a little bit. So I think they got a lot of issues coming up in the next couple of weeks because Eric is still dating Leilani, and then um, hopefully he's written this letter to his mother. But also, writing a letter to your mother, is that gonna do anything? Is that gonna help? And if it doesn't help, that's okay. Even that's okay because at least he felt like he did something. Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Nisha?
No, you're good. I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
say that.
So let's go to Mr. Sean and LaRonda.
LaRonda.
Yes. Okay. So what do you call it? Sean is sick of the dates, which I get. I get. He's like, I'm done. He's had enough. He doesn't even want to do this experiment. I feel like he's checked out. I feel like he's totally checked out, not just with the dates.
I
Uh,
feel like I feel like he did that because he was expecting Rhonda to do the same.
oh
Like I
yeah,
feel like
that's
he's falling back into his old practices. Like I really think he thought, okay, I'm done with the dates, so LaRonda will be done too. But when LaRonda says no, I'll take the date with what's his name, Derek or whatever his name is, and he's just kind of looking like, okay, like I'm I've grown, I've matured, so I can't throw a tantrum anymore. I just got to sit there and take it now. Yeah, so I think he did that to kind of appease LaRonda, thinking that she was going to do the same thing. Because even when he told LaRonda, I forget his last date's name, but he said she was the one that brought the most challenge for him. And she
Yep.
really liked that. He really liked that. Remember, I told you he needs a date that's more like LaRonda. So he kind of finally found that match, and now he's not going on a date with her, and it's like he's falling back into the same trap.
No, I do. I still think he's checked out. He doesn't want to date anymore. He didn't want to date last week, but he expected, I do agree with you on this point though. He expected LaRonda to check out too and say, no, I don't want another date. And when she said, yes, I will go on a date with Eric, the face, his role, the roll of his eyes in the cut, he had to turn his head. I was like, you have no poker face. Yeah, he was so expected her to do the same thing, and when she didn't, he definitely had an issue with that. But I think that LaRonda, she is somebody like she needs to go on these dates to get used to. Like she's really starting to feel Derek, and now she's like, now I'm done. She was really like really liking him, and she likes the mature type of person. She said, I wish that Sean was as confident. She said, he has a lot of the traits that I wish Sean had. Yeah. So Tia's asking, why are people saying that Derek is a better match for LaRonda than Sean? When people say that alpha men and alpha women aren't a good match, do you think that LaRonda's an alpha? I think he's a better match for. I'll tell you why I think he's a better match than Sean,
Mhm.
because he's like got a good head on his shoulders. He is somebody that, hey, if I wanted to be creative, he will get a job on the side, but still get out there. I just feel like he's driven. I get that driven type of vibe from him, and he is confident. His confident walks in before him, whereas Sean does not have those confidence that walk in before him. We saw in the previous episodes when he would go get the door. That was so funny. Well, this is my queen, the love of my life, whatever he said. I was like, you don't have to do all that. He literally, you can tell that he's not confident, and it really bugs her when he does stuff like that. So that's why I think that um, what's his name, Derek is a better match. That's why I think he's a better match. But yeah, what do you think?
I think Derek is more established. He knows where he's going. He knows what he wants. What's his name? Sean is still figuring it out. He's still trying to get areas of his life consistent financially, but also he's broken. He's he is broken. Like he's dealing with the hurt from his dad, his other family issues. So I don't really think he's emotionally stable enough to really be in a healthy marriage. So I think a lot of people look at Derek saying that he's more financially stable. That's why he's a better reason. But also, I think he's more emotionally and mentally stable for her.
Now, Tia does have a point. Sean won't be able to mother Derek, or I'm sorry, LaRonda won't be
Yeah,
able to mother Derek.
she wants
He,
that control.
she likes to mother him. She likes bringing him water, and I think that and she likes ironing his clothes. But I don't know. I think that she would be that equal partner. I think that she would like that. I think that she would like to at least see how it is to be in a relationship with somebody that you don't think so? You don't think you I
No,
wonder.
that's
Okay.
why she is not giving up Sean for Derek, because I think that's a struggle for her. She's got that control. She's got him where she wants him. So for the most part, except for the fact that he hasn't proposed yet, that's really all she wants from him.
But
She's
don't you
cool with everything else. So I think that she likes the control aspect, and deep down she knows that she cannot control Derek. She cannot rub him on the back of the head and manipulate him like she can with Sean. So
do you think that Sean is going to ask her to marry him because she wants it, not because he really
yes.
wants to
Yes.
ask him? That's what I think. I said you're only doing this because LaRonda wants you to. You don't really
Mhm.
want to marry her right now. I think that you don't, and you don't want to lose her. I don't think he wants to lose her. But as far
Mhm.
as really wanting to be married, I don't know that he really wants to. I don't think he really wants to be married right now. So I think
Right.
that he's doing it because she wants that. But to your point, and to Tia's point, I do think that there is part of LaRonda that likes that mothering or that controlling aspect. She likes to be kind of the one in charge. Because Derek, that's not what he would. It wouldn't be that way with him. It would not be that way with him. So I really want to get into this, the conversation they had about the parent, his father and Sean and his father's relationship. Um, what did you think of that?
I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything like that, but I've heard it enough. Like he started out the season talking about it, and like we already know, like we didn't know about Eric and Jessica, we didn't know about LaRonda, we didn't know about the state where they were with their families and all that, but we knew with Sean because he brought it up from day one because it's bothering him that much. And like I forget what exactly Dr. Nicole said about, I think she said something about coming to a resolution or something of that sort, and just kind of it accepting what their relationship is and moving forward instead of trying to hold yourself to not be like your father and not don't do this, don't do that. And I'm like, yeah. So I just think it's time to heal. It's time to grow so you can be who you need to be for your relationship. You can't change anyone. You can't make anyone come around. You can't make anyone apologize. You just got to move forward and do what's best for you. And that's all I want to see him do at this point.
You know, it that you're right. We have been hearing a lot about it, but to me, I think that that is really truly why he is the way he is. This extra sensitive part of him. A lot of people, a lot of kids that have been abused, either they become an abuser or they become this extra sensitive person that doesn't want to hit it all. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they just take it and take it and take it and then be this people pleaser, because of things that happened in their child, because of abuse. But what is so interesting is, um, LaRonda saying what a great relationship she had with her parents. And because of that, she wanted him to have a great relationship with, or she wanted to resolve it with his father. And I was like, sweetheart, because you did not have the same relationship with your parents, you cannot make him, you know, resolve this. He's gonna have to resolve it his way in his time. And it's going to take him a lot. It's going to take him a lot of tears because we know that he's an extra sensitive type of guy. And it may not be, it's not going to be overnight. It may not be before you guys get married. And honestly, you can't be his therapist. It's absolutely true. Uh, Dr. Nicole, she said you can resolve it without, she didn't say getting over it, but you may not be able to get over it in your lifetime. You're not going to. And that's okay, but you can resolve yourself to this is what happened and not like live with it for the rest of your life. So I do like Dr. Nicole's advice this episode. She was firing on all cylinders last night. So the other night, I thought that that was really good advice for him because he's not going to be able to get over it. You can tell, like you said, we've been hearing about it. So we've been hearing about it since day one. That means that it is in the forefront of his brain. You know, it is always something he's thinking about. So he is not over it. And he is going to bring that into his marriage. Because if we've heard it, then we know that LaRonda's heard it. And we know that he's been thinking about it all the time. So LaRonda saying, I have a great relationship with my dad, and I want him to have a great relationship with his dad. It's not going to happen that way. So Tia was saying, if children often repeat what they see their parents do, doesn't Sean have to consciously fight not to be like his father? How else does he avoid repeating the behaviors? He either fights either being abusive himself, or he's this extra sensitive, sweet guy who can also be emotionally manipulative. So, and it comes off in different ways. So, and like I have my, there's a past history of abuse in my parentage, and especially my middle brother does not hit his kids. He's just like very sweet, like nicer than he should be, almost passive aggressive type of person. And it's because of, what certain things that he's seen our mother go through. So you either become a horrible abuser or you're on the other spectrum. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just he needs to focus on his character. But I think it's a stronghold when he keeps on focusing on not being like his father, because then he's constantly reminded of the things that his father did to him. So if he focuses on himself and being the best person he can be, that's how he moves forward. But when he's got his dad in the back of his head, my dad did this to me, my dad did that, he did this to my mom, I don't want to be like that. He's holding on to that, and it's a stronghold at this point. So that's what I'm saying. He needs to focus on his character and being the best person he can be, because that's all he really can't be. He cannot be perfect. And I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be the perfect husband or father instead of just focusing on being the best person he can be and really moving on from that.
And he has been mentioning that a lot. I just don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be like my father. And that's keeping his father in the forefront of his mind constantly,
Yeah.
instead of concentrating on his character and who he truly wants to be. Yep. Do you want to get into the tea?
Oh my goodness. We're gonna be here all day.
We did see LaRonda. I know. We did see LaRonda, or I'm sorry, not LaRonda. Alexia. We did see her a small piece. The girls went to check on her. What did you think of that?
What I noticed was that there were still pictures of Darion on the wall, but she's sitting there crying, talking about she's over him and she's wants him to go to the next woman so that she can take him off her hands. But it kind of, but then as she's saying all that, the pictures of them are on the wall. So I kind of feel like that's what it is. Like I feel like she's been forced to kind of, I don't know what you call it, he'll move on. I think she's been forced to do that publicly to kind of save face, and because that's what everyone's pushing her to do, because she's on the show, everyone sees that she's in a relationship that's not good for her, so they want her to move on, heal, and get into a better relationship. So I feel like she has to say those sort of things. She has to do that at this point, or she looks dumb. So I feel like I kind of feel like it was all like making sense to me. She feels like she has to say that, but deep down, she still wants, there's part of her that still wants him. You know, we've seen on Instagram, she's DMing Kai, she's going back and forth with Kai. Why is there so much attention on Kai? If you're glad the next woman took him off your hands, what are you messaging her for? Why are like, yeah, but
No, I agree. I was like, huh. I don't know that you're totally over. Well, one, we are sure that she's not totally over it, but I truly believe like she's been kind of forced to do this get over it type of thing. And
mm-hmm,
it's okay to say you're not over it. It's okay to
mm-hmm.
say, you know what, this is hard and I'm not over it. And if we see that next week they're back together, we shouldn't be surprised about that. Like that
Yeah.
happens. That happens. And unfortunately, as we saw last week with the Paige and Krista stuff, was crazy. But that's kind of how that can happen. So she's trying to do this get over it stuff because we're all seeing it. The people from the season before, she does live Instagram with them, and they're like, you know, oh girl, move on and all this other stuff, and they're trying to do this motivational stuff with her, but that's probably not how she's feeling. And um I'm wondering, like, we've seen if Smoke can like smoke in her ear, Kiki in her ear, whisper some smoke in her ear, will she take him back? I am thinking that is what I'm thinking in the back of my head. Hopefully
Mm-hmm.
that's not true, but and we are seeing. Go ahead and tell us what we are seeing in the chat.
It's so messy. I feel drained talking about it because it's when does it stop? So what we already know is that the reunion was filmed in July, I believe, and it's now the end of August, and they're still going at it on Instagram. So from what I've seen, is Darion posted on his Instagram. First of all, shout out to Kamisha Reviews. She posted these screenshots. Darion was messaging this blogger saying that he's with Kai, like Kai cooks for him, she takes care of him. Alexia didn't do that. He was kind of doing the same thing he's been doing, trying to put Alexia and Kai against each other. So it's kind of like it's a mess. So basically, then maybe a day or two later, he posts that Kai keyed his car. And so that's where we're at. So, okay, so then that brings me to another point. I saw a live. Um, it was on YouTube. I forget the YouTuber's name. Darion and Kai were on a live, and I didn't feel chemistry. It felt very buddy buddy. And even someone asked, "Are you still together?" And she said, "We don't go together." And then Darion starts laughing and she says, "Well, he got some type of lady because his phone keeps blowing up." Because I guess they're using his phone for the live. Like some girl keeps calling his phone. So I guess that's his girl. And it was kind of like this buddy type of thing. I didn't sense any type of romantic connection between them. So then that got my mind going, okay, so are they just teaming up? Because like I said from the beginning, he came on this show to get back in the spotlight. It was not for Alexia. He did not come on the show for Alexia. So I think part of me feels like he's intentionally trying to be the villain with Kai to get more attention, to get extra 5 minutes added onto his little 15 minutes of fame, if you want to call it that. So I feel like they're in cahoots at this point. And then that led me to Alexia. You know, Alexia does these interviews and she says, if they slept together, if. So it's like, did they really sleep together? Or are they just saying that to kind of get clout from it? So yeah, my head's spinning with them. But yeah, that's been the tea. So, but it's been said that Darion and Kai have been together. I don't know if they've been together. Like, obviously, he can't be together with nobody. But are they? They've been hanging out. That's what it seems like. But I think it's more they're in cahoots for this little scheme or plot. I don't think it's like a real love triangle of some sort.
They were in the live together, or they were in two separate, but they were like
Oh, and
they
another thing, they were together on the
hmm
same live. I'm assuming it
That's what I
might have
was
been on
asking.
Darion's live, but
Okay.
they were in the condo. They did a live in the condo because he posted pictures on his Instagram of the condo, and it has that clear window where you can see the city, and that's where
hmm
they were.
Okay, so we finally got an interior of the condo. So they were on a live in the condo, and there was no chemistry. There was no type of affection or interpersonal connection at all. And Kai says, "Well, somebody's dinging his phone. His phone's constantly ringing, but
Mm-hmm.
that's it." Wow.
Yes.
And so
So
they
yeah.
have been hanging out. I do see your point, and I think that we were talking about this before, that and he had said on some, I think it was on that same screenshot of those text messages,
Mm-hmm.
that Kai helped him get out of the situation with Alexia. Like, now I've moved on from that, from Alexia. Like, I think that
Mm-hmm.
it was he I don't want to say that he didn't want to get out of that situation, because I think that he definitely, um, he wanted Alexia as part of the equation, but
Yeah,
Kai,
and that brings me to another point because he's doing all these rants, all this
yes,
unnecessary stuff on social media. And I've been trying to figure out, okay, he's trying to get somebody's attention. Is he just trying to get attention, period? Is he trying to get Alexia's attention? Is he trying to get Kai's attention? I don't know, but or maybe he's just trying to get attention overall. But I was kind of feeling like he's doing all this to get Alexia's attention. But I
to
don't
get
know.
her back, to get her
Yes,
back
that's
after
what
this.
I feel.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know.
There was a lot in that. After the keying of the car, Kai keyed his car. Um, he's still messing around with some other woman, and there was.
Yeah, yeah, some other woman allegedly caught something from him. We don't know exactly what it is, but there were screenshots that's from Kamisha Review. So you can go check out her live, her page, and get the tea on that. But allegedly, he's out here burning folks. So that's. I'm not
So that's.
surprised though.
I'm
I'm
not.
not surprised.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm not
I'm
surprised.
not
It's smoking,
surprised.
smoking, smoking. Um, I think it's
I
Ayana.
agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
they could be trying to play us, so he can get 2 more minutes of fame. That's why other women are speaking out, about the 14 years, or that's why other women are just coming out of the woodwork. There's like two for sure that we know of, and then there's another, uh, somebody else that's bankrolling him, that's paying for the condo. And then, of course, Alexi is helping him pay for the condo. So there's a lot going on, that I think that he was trying to revitalize his career. And Alexia, that's what I was wondering. And I think that she really did feel something for him. I got the impression that either this girl's a good actress, or she was really feeling that, um, and is really hurt. But sometimes I really thought that, are they just great friends? I don't know.
We talked about this because
Yes.
if shout out to Kamisha's reviews again, she has interviews with two of Darion's exes, and both of them had one of them had like a 2-year relationship, other one dated him for over 10 years. neither one of them mentioned Alexia.
Right. I
So
thought that was really suspicious.
it's weird. So it makes me think, like you said, were they just great friends and he just picked Alexia for the show because she meets the aesthetic of the show? Because not to
She's just a
be
good person
not to
as
be
far as.
shady, the other exes wouldn't really fit in to the show's aesthetic. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
But then it really, gosh, you're right. Alexia definitely looks. She's just a better person than these other women, and shows as a woman of integrity. But then it looks like you've treated a woman of integrity really horrible, and you just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you've treated somebody that has been down for you like crap for 14 years. So,
Right.
and I don't like that. We both have talked about that. How we don't like what this represents is as far as him treating her like this, but that's kind of what it's looking like. Pretty much, that's pretty much what it's looking
Mm-hmm.
like. So we're going to be definitely keeping an eye on this. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
we got one more episode. So next episode, we're supposed to find out who is getting proposed to. So, and then hopefully after that, it'll be the reunion. They might skip a week. I think they usually do that where they skip a week and then show it after. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm ready for that reunion because if they're still doing this, the reunion's already been filmed. If they're still acting this way on social media after the reunion's already been filmed, I know some stuff had to go down at the reunion.
oh yeah, like we were saying last week, I'm sure Kai is going to show up at the reunion. Darion's going to show up at the reunion. But I also think that even though this show ended in July, but then now we're watching it, so it brings everything back up. It brings everything
Hmm.
back up, back into the
That's true.
forefront. So then that's when the text message is going to come. Everything just can come right back up. So yes, and yeah, we got to watch this proposal episode. As you saw, what's her name, Jessica, she was having a one-on-one with Dr. Ponytail, and she's really still um, going back and forth and not sure. So we're gonna see how that goes. Yes. So thank you guys. Thank you all for joining us. This was a lot of fun. And I
Yes, it
really,
was.
I hope that I it got kind of boring this episode, but at the same time, this
Hmm.
is the stuff that regular couples go through. That has nothing to do with drama. It has to do with your parentage and how you grew up and things like that. And we don't want to see women get cheated on. So yeah.
Hmm.
So
One thing I will add, so I've been watching Kai's Instagram, and she did say that tomorrow she is starting a podcast. So on this podcast, she's supposed to air her truth. She's supposed to let everybody know what the real. She said, I've been quiet long enough. Monday, I'm gonna be starting my podcast, and you can see I'm gonna let it all. I'm not gonna be quiet no more. Is basically what she's saying. I got stuff to say. So we will see if tomorrow, if she does do this podcast, I'll be posting about it. So you'll see her about it.
yes, so you'll see. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining us today. Please stay tuned because we got a lot coming up. Misha,
Yeah.
Kia Simone, and I will be doing another podcast. We're going to be doing a really cool show that's coming up in September. Stay tuned for flyers on that. I got about 4 shows coming up on forgiveness and a lot of things that we talked about today, actually, and boundaries and the power of no. So thank you guys all for joining us. Go ahead, Misha.
Make sure you guys subscribe to both of our channels, Crystal Lynette and Misha Allen on YouTube. Make sure you like this live And come back here and catch us every Friday and Sunday at 3 p.m. to see our reviews, to join in on the discussions. And yeah, we thank you guys so much for coming and joining us, and have a great Sunday.
Thank you.